What if you could walk the streets of London? Not today's London, but the London of 300 years ago. Well, thanks to some incredible AI, that's exactly what we're going to do. We are stepping back into the 18th century to see the city as it really was, all brought to life from paintings and engravings from the time. So, this was Georgian London. And wow, was it a city of extremes? I mean, on one hand, you got these grand, magnificent new buildings popping up in the West. But on the other, a lot of London was still this chaotic maze of narrow streets just teeming with life. You could almost feel the raw energy, right? The pulse of a city about to become a global powerhouse. So you're probably wondering, how is this even possible? Well, it all comes down to this really remarkable AI. It's been trained on hundreds of 18th century paintings and engravings. Think of them as historical snapshots, right? Moments frozen in time. The AI analyzes all of it, the buildings, what people were wearing, even the vibe of the streets, and reconstructs it. It's what gives us this absolutely unique and vivid window into the past. All right, let's start our tour from up high. From this bird's eye view, looking up the River Thames, you really get a sense of the sheer scale of this place. This was a city that was quickly becoming the most powerful in the entire world. At this point, the city was already a booming metropolis. We're talking over 500,000 people. And to put that into perspective for you, a single city, London, had more people than many entire countries at the time. It was a true megacity of its day. And just look at that skyline. Can you imagine seeing Sir Christopher Wren's St. Paul's Cathedral for the first time? That brand new dome just glittering in the sun. What a powerful symbol of London's rebirth after the Great Fire. And right there, you can see the monument to the fire, a constant reminder of how resilient this city was. This is the exact view that would have greeted sailors and merchants as they sailed right into the heart of the British Empire. But London's power wasn't just in how it looked. It was in its absolutely bustling commercial heart. So let's zoom in and really see what made this city the engine of an empire. And right at the heart of everything was the River Thames. I mean, this was not just a river, it was a superhighway for global trade, just jam-packed with ships from every corner of the known world. London was, without a doubt, the #1 port on the planet. The city's economic power was really focused in a few key spots. Think of it like this. The Thames was the main artery, the Royal Exchange was the financial heart, and Cheapside, well, that was the ultimate shopping destination. Each one played a totally crucial role in London's non-stop growth. Okay, now try to picture yourself standing in the courtyard of the Royal Exchange. The air is just thick with the sound of merchants, shouting, haggling in dozens of different languages. Fortunes are being made and lost with a single handshake. In fact, the famous Lloyds of London, yep, their insurance business got its start right here. This was the spot where the entire world came to do business. All right, from there, let's head over to Cheapside. This is a street whose name really tells its own story. It comes from the Old English word cheap, which literally means marketplace. And for centuries, this was the absolute commercial soul of London. And really, calling it the Oxford Street and Wall Street of the 1700s rolled into one, that is no exaggeration. The shops that lined this street were some of the most luxurious and expensive in the world. They were selling things most people couldn't even dream of. This is where all that new money from the empire was being spent. But London's identity was really split in two. On one side, you had the ancient, unchanging power of the monarchy, symbolized by these massive stone fortresses. And then on the other side, you had the glittering, super fashionable world of the aristocracy, showing off in the city's brand new, elegant squares. And when it comes to fortresses, nothing was more imposing than the Tower of London. I mean, for over 700 years, ever since William the Conqueror started it, those formidable walls had just loomed over the city. It was a stark, constant reminder of exactly who was in charge. By the 1700s, though, the tower was so much more than just a fortress or a prison. It was like a city within a city. It was a working palace, it was the nation's armory, it was the mint, where they made all the coins, and it was the vault for the crown jewels. It was basically a symbol of state power in all its forms. Okay, now let's flip over to the new face of power. It is hard to believe, but this elegant place, St. James's Square, was once described by its own residents as rude and in great disorder. We're talking a muddy, neglected mess. But then, in the 1720s, this incredible transformation happened, and it became one of the most desirable addresses in all of London. And with that glow-up, St. James's Square became the place to be for the rich and powerful. Just imagine it. Carriages pulling up to these grand houses, you hear laughter and music spilling out into the night. This right here was the beating heart of aristocratic London. But London wasn't just about money and power. It was also this melting pot of creativity and innovation. This was a place where new ideas were genuinely changing the world. Take Leicester Square. It became this magnet for artistic talent. You had people like the painter William Hogarth and the great Sir Joshua Reynolds living there. Even royalty got in on the action. The Prince of Wales himself moved in. This is where you could really feel the cultural pulse of the city. And then you have Greenwich. Now, it might just look like a peaceful park on the edge of the city, but it was about to become one of the most important places on the entire planet. Because it was right here in 1884 that the world agreed to set the prime meridian, the one line from which all time and all longitude would be measured. But even beyond all that science stuff, the view from Greenwich was just stunning. It was a panorama that inspired artists and writers for centuries. And you know what's truly remarkable? If you go and stand in that same spot today, the view is almost exactly the same. It's this incredible, timeless connection to the city's past. So as we start to wrap up our journey, it's just so clear that the London of the 1700s was a city going through this huge transformation. And you can still see the legacy of it everywhere you look today. Really, the 18th century was when modern London was born. Out of the ashes of the Great Fire, this new city rose up. A city of commerce, a city of power, and a city of big ideas. The foundations that were laid back then, they're what allowed it to become a global superpower and shaped the London that we all know today. You know, history is just full of these incredible cities, right? Each one has its own story, captured in art. So we want to know what you think. What city's past should we bring to life next? Drop your ideas in the comments below. Thanks so much for coming with us on this journey back in time.